I'm back, baby, at least for this week. And today we're going back to my roots, which is home security. I'm a security guy, first and foremost. We're going to talk about the top 5 ways to protect your home going into 2023. We're going to do it in countdown form. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get started. What up, everybody? It's George Langevere with Silver Hammer Surveillance. Here on the channel, we talk smart home tech, we talk home security. Here lately, we've had to talk about some health updates, some unfortunate health concerns going on with myself. If you follow us, you know what I'm talking about. I am going to give a health update at the end of this video, and I'm going to give a special message along with that health update, so please stick around to the end of this video. But as far as my general health, it's a lot easier for me to do short form updates like on Facebook or Instagram. So if you're concerned, which I know so many of you are, and I appreciate it so much, follow me on Instagram or Facebook and you can get more of those updates. But today is all about home security. And we're talking about the top 5 ways that I like to tell people to protect themselves and their home going into 2023. We're gonna do it in countdown form. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, being my favorite. And here we go. Okay, so even though we're doing this in countdown form, all of these are very important. So number 5, the basics. Your windows, keep them locked. Your doors, keep them locked. Front door, back door, side door, whatever it is. Garage door, keep it closed. Interior garage door, keep it locked. Silver Hammer Surveillance, we've come in behind some horrible stories with home invasions. It's because they went in the garage. Then once they get in the garage, they got full access to the house because you left your interior garage door open. So I don't care if you work from home, you're gone during the day, you're sleeping at night, whatever it is, keep your doors locked. Keep your windows shut and locked, especially low-lying windows, basement windows down on the ground, or any window that a thief can reach. And then your front door, back door, side doors, of course, that's a no-brainer. But the garage door is huge. Just make sure that sucker's closed and then lock that interior garage door. All right, then other basics can be things like dogs. Get yourself a tough, badass dog. Dogs are an awesome security system. If a thief hears a real dog that sounds like it's a pretty mighty badass dog, they'll go to the next house. Dogs are great. Now, on past videos, and I'm going to put links in the description of several of the videos we've made on these topics. I'm also going to put affiliate links in the description for some of my top items that we talk about in this countdown. So check that out in the links in the description below. But some of those videos I get responses on comments about firearms, how important it is to, be packing. Well, I'm not against guns at all, and I'm not going to get into that conversation. I even have my concealed carry, so don't think I'm against guns. But one thing I will say about firearms is they're only good when you're home. They're not going to do you any good when you're not. And also, the other thing about guns is if a thief knows your house well enough, they're going to know you have them, and they're going to want to steal them. So keep that in mind when you come back with the firearm argument. Just saying. All right, that's number 5. Stick to the basics. Number 4 is lighting. I don't think people realize how important lighting can be in protecting your home. Whether it's floodlights on the exterior of your house, smart lights on the interior of your house, you can do so much with lighting. With smart lights, you can set timers, you can make people think you're home when you're not. You can change colors and make it think that you're doing fun stuff in there, even if you're not home. You can do all sorts of automations with lights. It's just the possibilities are endless with lighting. Not only is it important to make people think you're home when you're not, but it can also be important just to make a thief feel less private. If a thief's in a neighborhood and they'll scope out different houses, if your house is pitch black all the time, that's just an invitation to just have your way with the place because nobody's going to see them do it. So lighting is another very simple one, a very easy one, but it's huge. Number 3, smart locks and smart garage door openers. These are very important because as a security guy, it's all about protecting your entry points and access points. And both of these things are going to do that. You got your front door, you got your back door, you got your side door, you got your interior garage door, and then your garage door. So they kind of go hand in hand. Smart locks, basically they just replace your deadbolt on any door that has a deadbolt. They're great because they have a physical key, so you can still use it whether the internet works or not. But with the internet factor, you're gaining a whole new set of features. You can check if the lock's locked or not remotely on your phone. You can make sure that it auto locks. Most of them, in fact, all of them have auto lock settings where your lock will lock after 20, 30 seconds, whatever it is when you leave. So you're gonna know your door locks. You can give people temporary access, family members that are visiting, whatever it is. There's so many advantages of smart locks, but just knowing that status. And then notifications. When you're not home, you're going to get notified if somebody unlocks that door, and you just, we're going to get to cameras in a minute, but then you're going to be able to check on your camera and see what's going on. And then the garage door, again, same thing. So many people leave their garage door open, and that is just a welcome mat for thieves. And once they get in there, if you didn't lock that interior garage door open, they're in your house. So you just can tell whether your garage door is open or not. You're going to get that notification the second it opens. And then you've got delivery drivers that you can let in. Amazon's got a feature where they can actually deliver packages in your garage. You can cut down delivery stuff that way. We're going to talk about cameras in a second, but then you can see that delivery driver in your garage. But you can let people in and out. You can, UPS, for me as a business owner, I work out of this house now. So when I get a UPS delivery, I can just let in the driver to my garage, and then I know my package is safe. There's so many advantages of that, but the key is knowing that your garage door is closed and just getting that notification when it's open. Number 2, burglar alarms, perimeter alarms, whatever you want to call them. I'm talking door and window contacts and motion detectors. Now, this is a little controversial because of some of my stances on it in the past. One of my very first videos when I switched to smart home and security stuff on the channel was about security alarms, and it's by far my most watched video, and I think it's because it was so controversial. The comments have been crazy, and they still are to this day, just because of my stance on it at the time. Now, I've done follow-up videos, and I'll put links in the description to those videos, but burglar alarms and perimeter alarms, there is nothing wrong with layering your security. So by all means, protect yourself in as many ways as you can. The benefits to the burglar alarm is, when you're not home or you're sleeping, there's that loud siren and it's going to wake you up, or it's going to notify a thief, hey, something's going on here. There's a loud sign. I got to get out of here. So you're going to have the loud siren. Now, burglar alarms, you can do monitored or not monitored. Monitored means there's a monitoring center kind of watching your home, or you can do it yourself. If you do it yourself, you're still going to get the loud siren and everything. But if you have it monitored, you're going to have somebody watching you. Now, that can be costly. That's one of my problems with it. But you're going to have somebody watching your home. So if some alarm goes off, they're going to check on you. It's also great for fire and smoke and CO alarms. So you got somebody else watching out for you. If you're sleeping or you're passed out because of carbon monoxide, somebody's watching out for you. So monitored could be great there. I just don't know if it's worth it for the fee, because on the do-it-yourself side, you're still going to have the loud siren. There are so many different systems, and again, I'm going to put links in the description of some of my favorite do-it-yourself systems. But a car, for example, a car is a company that's got every sensor you can think of, and you can do it yourself. So you got door and window contacts, you got motion sensors, you got water leak sensors. That's another big one. And that's something else a monitored service can watch for you. But if you got it yourself, you can also monitor it. CO, everything you can think of, the do-it-yourself systems can do as well. But it's an added layer of protection. My biggest problem with burglar alarms in general is that they are reactive instead of proactive. We're going to get to my number 1 solution here in a second, which is more about being proactive. I don't like the fact that the thief's already in your house or the situation already happened. Now, in the fact of fire and smoke and CO, being reactive is fantastic. It's going to probably save your life. So in that case, they're great. But for security, I don't like the fact that the thief's already in your house and they're reacting to that. Now, it could still save you. It could still wake you up, and that's great. But I just don't like that they're reactive. But for all other reasons, layer, add a security alarm. Monitored, not monitored, what doesn't matter, go for it. If you can afford it, layer. Number 1, security cameras. And I know people are going to say, oh, this is just a guy selling cameras. Guess what? When I started Silverhammer Surveillance, I had all sorts of different avenues I could take and ways to protect people's family. I picked the one that I think is the most proactive, the best bang for your buck. And that's where I started, and that's what I'm going to stick to. I'm going to stick to my guns till the end of time, because I want to be proactive. I could sell burglar alarms. I don't. I could sell this. I could sell that. Cameras, I picked it for a reason. I'm not just some salesman. I'm a security guy. So anyway, security cameras are my number 1 solution. Number 1, because they are proactive. You're going to get alerts. You're going to know somebody's in your yard before they get to your house. It gives you more time to react. You're going to know things when you're not home before they actually happen. There are so many different reasons to have security cameras. Now, when it comes to security cameras, there's 2 ways to go. And I've done videos on this. Again, I'll put links in the description below. Basically, you can go wired or wireless. Wireless being Wi-Fi cameras. We'll start with wireless, the pros and cons. Wireless can be great because they're usually integrated into the smart home. Now, I will tell you, just a pro tip, Stick with cameras that are with the main smart home platforms, which is Amazon, Google, and Apple. You can get all sorts of crazy cheap stuff on Amazon, but you get what you pay for, and you're going to pay for it. When you go and pay for it, like as in regret it. When you go to buy these things, stick with those 3 platforms, because most of those cameras are going to have great features like facial recognition. They're going to have alerts through your smart home, whether it's Google Home, Alexa, or Apple HomeKit, Apple Home. You're going to get alerts. You're going to know who it is because some of them have those facial recognition abilities, which is fantastic. But you want to stick with those platforms because if you get the cheap stuff, you're going to regret it. Number one, it's either going to fail because of the weather or how cheaply it's made or whatever that may be. Whereas when these cameras are made for Amazon, Google, or Apple, they tend to be a little more, robust and well made. So stick with them on those platforms, but they are a great solution. My biggest problem with Wi-Fi cameras is, number one, they're usually not the highest quality camera. There are some of them that are very well built, but they're lacking features. Like they'll have night vision, but the night vision will suck. Apple Home, you're limited to 1080p, so it's all about resolution, whereas nowadays you can go up to 2K and 4K. So there's some limitations there because you're relying on your Wi-Fi, and that's the root negative to Wi-Fi cameras. If your Wi-Fi goes out, in most cases, you're screwed. Now, Nest cameras, for example, they'll give you a couple hours if your Wi-Fi goes out. They'll record locally to the camera, and that's great. But for the most part, you are reliant on Wi-Fi. So not only is it if your Wi-Fi goes out, but it's also your Wi-Fi speeds, things like that. So they're great with features, and they're great for smart home people like myself because they integrate in those platforms. But you got to be careful because sometimes the features are beautiful in theory, but some other things lack, especially like night vision. That's a big one, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So keep that in mind when you're talking about wireless cameras. Let's move on to wired cameras. Okay, when you're talking about wired cameras, you're talking about an NVR or a DVR system, network video recorder or digital video recorder. Nowadays, it's usually an NVR, network video recorder. And that's a box, that's kind of the head unit, the control unit. Cameras outside or inside, a cable's running back to that NVR, and then the NVR is the brains. Now, the advantages to an NVR system over the Wi-Fi system is that they are wired. So even if your internet goes out, they still work. But not only that, but there are a ton of other advantages. Wired camera systems are the most reliable, the most vandal-proof, the most weatherproof, highest resolution, the best night vision. There are so many advantages to a wired system, but most of all, they are the most reliable and they're not going to crap out on you because they're wired. And yes, you can lose power, but even with a battery backup power supply, you hook your NVR or DVR up to that, your cameras are still going to work even in a power outage. So there's just so much more reliability to them, but usually the build quality, and we're going to talk about this in a second, but there's just so many advantages to it with all those different features. And now with NVRs, the analytics are catching up to the Wi-Fi cameras because the one advantage the Wi-Fi cameras has is like facial recognition and stuff like that. They're so advanced with facial recognition, the wired camera systems took a little while to catch up, but they're catching up now. And that's really the only advantage those wireless cameras have other than the actual smart home integration. So now, when it comes to wired camera systems, you get what you pay for. So with wireless cameras, I told you to stick to the 3 platforms. Wired, I call them the drug dealer cameras. You've heard me say it 100 times. You want to stay away from Lorex, Swan, Night Owl, the cheap brands. The only middle of the road brand I would probably put my stamp on is like a Reolink. And the problem with Reolink and some of these other brands that are kind of claim to be top of the line wired cameras is they've got a wide range. So Reolink will rope you in, but they'll sell you their cheap stuff. And you got to get their high-end stuff to make it worthwhile. So keep in mind, if you go with a brand like Reolink, make sure it's their top-end stuff because you want the stuff to last and you want it to work. Now for me, and I've done videos on this, I did a video a few months ago, Alibi is my brand. And I'm not just a salesman saying this, I'm a guy that's done this for a long time, that has had businesses stalk me and want me to use their stuff. I stick with Alibi because it's only got a 1% fail rate. And that's my wired system of choice. Go back and watch my video on the unboxing, and then I installed it at a friend's house. That's why I use it. I'm not just trying to peddle it. I'm using it because it works, and you want it to be reliable. The analytics are great, but you want something that's going to last, and that's what a brand, Alibi is a dealer-only brand, and that's the advantages you get over like a Reolink or the drug dealer cameras. You're getting the quality, something that's rated negative 40 degrees to 140 degrees compared to something that's going to crap out when it's cold. You're getting color night vision that's 98 feet instead of a cheap Wi-Fi camera that's like 30 feet. You're going all the way up to 4K resolution, and you're talking about 4K resolution that's true 4K, not downgraded because it's some Wi-Fi camera. There's so many different advantages to a high-end wired camera system, and that's why it's the #1 way to protect your house. I'm not just some cameraman salesman saying that. I'm a guy that likes to protect people. I want it to work. So in general, camera systems are the way to go because it's proactive, but you want to make sure it's a camera system that works, that's quality, and covers all your bases. All right, so that's my top 5 ways to protect your house going into 2023. Now, I've talked about some of this before, but I just wanted to give an update because it's been a while since I've done a video like that. So now on to a health update. I don't have much to report. For those of you that don't know who I am, I have been diagnosed with colon cancer, and I've been going through the process. We've had some up and down news along the way. Right now, I am going through chemo. I had my first treatment of chemo last week, basically, a week and a half ago, and it went very well. So that's my update. It went as well as it possibly could have. It's FOLFOX chemo, and for those of you that know what that is, there's a ton of different side effects, and that's the problem with chemo, is the side effects. Luckily, knock on wood, whatever I can knock on, I really didn't have any side effects. I went through it like a champ. I had no nausea, I had no cold sensitivity, I had no sores, I really had nothing that you have to watch out for. So basically, I went through my little treatment. I had my little MRSA. If you look at my little update, you'll see me in my MRSA. I rocked it, man, I rocked it. But really, I'm gonna go through chemo for 12 rounds. So I do it every Thursday, or every two weeks. So I've got another one coming up on Thursday. And then I basically go in there for 4 hours, and then I wear this pump for 2 days, and then I basically have 12 days off. Now, the first of those 12 days, I kind of recover. But if it goes anything like it has gone this round, basically I'm back in business. As far as Silverhammer goes and my life goes, I'm gonna live my life. Doctor told me I really have no restrictions as long as I stay like this. So just kind of know if you're out there and you want to call me for business-related reasons, I'm going to take those couple of days to recover. So like I said, up until Thursday of this week, I'm good. And then I'm going to just kind of lay low. But then in those days after, I'm going to do jobs and take calls, and whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. So we're open for business. But anyway, that's my update. So I'm not going to have much to share. I'll share because it's so important to spread this awareness. But I'm not going to have much because I'm just going to go through this chemo for 12 rounds. So what I'll be sharing is side effects or no side effects and how it's going. But after 6 rounds, I'm going to get a PET scan, and we're going to see what it's doing to the cancer inside me. And so right now I got it metastasized in my liver, a little bit microscopic, which is the good news about this. And I've got it in my colon, but they really believe the chemo is going to knock this out. And then it's basically like having a chronic disease. I'm going to get this chemo. We're going to keep doing treatment for the rest of my life just to keep it at bay. But anyways, it is what it is, but that's my update. Chemo, no side effects. I'll let you know how that goes. So moving on to my special update, I just want to thank everybody again for the love and support. And I'm not going to cry this time because I'm positive. I'm fighting. I'm doing this thing. But the love and support has been unreal. It just keeps pouring in from around the world. My family and friends is one thing, and I love you all. But everybody out there has been so supportive from across the globe. I thank you so much. This weekend, great example. Friday night, I had a close friend that lives nearby, came over to hang out, lift my spirits. She brought me some of the most thoughtful gifts ever. I thank you so much. You know who you are. Then on Saturday, Teresa and I go get the mail. We got a special present out there from somebody that I've never met in person, but I feel like is a brother, and you know who you are. It was just a beautiful thing. It touched us so much. We're both bawling yesterday. Anyway, things like that have just been happening left and right, and so much positivity out there. So I love you all so much. All right, so moving on to, and also by the way, while we're talking awareness, get a freaking colonoscopy. It could save your life, I promise you. I'm 48. You know, maybe if I got it at 46, 47, I'd be in a different boat right now. But I'm telling you, if you're over 45, male or female, get a colonoscopy. It's worth it. Even if you just get the all clear, it's worth it. I'm over 40 something now that have told me they got a colonoscopy because of these videos. I am so thankful for that. Please keep that up because I'll be talking about this till the end of the time, and each one of you that do it, make it worthwhile. Now, in addition to the comments about a colonoscopy, and this might get rough for me, but I'm gonna make it because I'm positive. I've also been getting comments about people that have told me they gave up in their fight, and because of my video and my positivity, they kept going. So basically they were getting chemo and they decided they were just gonna live it out. They were just gonna let it do its thing. And then they saw me and they saw how positive I was and how ready I was to fight, and they decided to continue and to fight. And to all you people, man, that fills my heart. That's pretty awesome. So that's why I'm talking about this, and again, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. But I will tell you, that positivity, you know what? It's right here on my arm. Since 1989 or so, I had a favorite band. They're still around, 311. I went to high school with some of them. But anyway, they've got a mantra, stay positive and love your life. And I've always kind of tried to live that way. And so I've always been a positive person. So, but I don't know, there's no reason to just get down and out, and you gotta stay positive. So for those of you out there that are gonna give up, don't freaking give up. So I'm thinking, you know, if you have a horrible prognosis and you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, what I have to say to you is find yourself the biggest match you can find, strike that sucker up, light up the tunnel, and maybe your light will seep out to the end. And then you never know what could happen. So do not give up, because I'm not. Stay positive. I'm living every day one day at a time, and I'm gonna just live my life. And I'm gonna enjoy the crap out of it with Teresa and my family, and I'm looking forward to Christmas, and it's gonna be a beautiful thing. And for those of you, I'm so blessed with all the people in my life, and there's so many of you out there that are going through a different fight and have already been way through more than I've been through, and you feel like you're alone. And if you don't feel like you're loved like I am, I love you, and I'm with you. Contact me in the comments, whatever you need to do. We're in this together. We got this. So, with that being said, Jesus Christ, I wasn't gonna lose it, but that's it. That's my top 5 ways to protect your home. That's my health update, and that's my special message to you. And as far as the channel goes, I'll probably take the weeks off with chemo. I'm gonna take a couple weeks off for the holidays, so I wanna hang out with my family and enjoy it. But after that, if I feel like I feel now, I'm gonna come back at least every 2 weeks, and that's the plan. So I will see you soon, and I will keep you updated. But please, for shorter updates and things like that, follow me on Instagram, because there I can do short form updates and it's much easier. So please do that. But until I see you next time, and this, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, peace and love.